got you here for 10 minutes on the principles of the Treaty of Waitangi Bill. I won't hold up anymore. I'll hand straight over to you so we can get right into it. So kia ora.
Tēnā koe, tēnā koutou te komiti whiriwhiri te ture, I ngā take ture meki, he mihi tēnei ki koutou te komiti I tono mai he wana, kia tuku taku tāpaitanga ki koutou tira ki tātou katoa o Aotearoa. Tēnei au he mokopuna no roto I ngā mahi raupatu whenua te kāwana, ki rungi I oku nei mātua tūpuna. Tēnei hoki ahau he reo kāranga no roto I ngā mahi raupatu, ki taku reo Māori, o tira ki taku mita o Taranaki, nā te kāwana I pērā I ki rungi I oku nei kuia. Tēnei au hoki he tamawahine no roto ngā mahi o parihaka, o kai pakopako, o puketapu, I tēnei wai e tuana I runga I tēnei āhuatanga. Ko taku tāpaitanga I te rānei, kia tū hei māngai mōku tamariki o ku mokopuna, ka whaiheke mai. E whakahē rawatia nei taku katoa, ki tēnei pire, mō ngā mātāpono o te tiriti o Waitangi. He pire raupatu tēnei, he pire I te hanga ki te ngangara, e ngau ana ki te kiri o te tangata. Karo katoa tēnei pire, kia whakakiki I tōna ke puku. Ko wai mātau, ki te whakahē ngā mātua tupuna, ngā āriki, ngā rangatira I haere te tiriti o Waitangi. Hoi anō, ko tēnei pire, ko taku aronga ki tēnei pire, he momo ngangara, hoi anō, ko taku nei tono me ki kia whakamukua tēnei pire, kia tahuna ki te ahi, no reire te komiti whiriwhiri, koe nei taku pātai me pēhia te whakangu I te oro o te mano tāngata I tai atu ki pōneke I ngā kaupeka kua hori, rā te tāpaitanga tūpono ki te tangata, koeira taku nei pono me ki. He tāpaitanga motuhake tērā, I tai ngā iwi katoa o Aotearoa, I tai tiriti, tangata tiriti atu etehi, I tai iwi take etehi, I runga I te pono, me tai āmata me ki o a kanohi ki te kanohi, whatu ki te whatu, kia whakahua, kia pōwhitiwhiti kōrero I rangi, te kāia ki te kite I tētahi o ngā rangatira o roto I te kāwanatanga, atu I ngā kanohi o etehi, koira tāku I tēnei wā, me pēhea te whakangu I te mano tāngata I tai atu kanohi ki pōneke. Hoi anō, I runga I tērā, mahanga momo whatinga o te tiriti o Waitangi, ko te hiro whenua, ko te reo Māori, I pēhi nei ki roto I ngā kura, I pēhi te reo Māori ki ngā whānau hurinoa I te motu, noho pērā tonu ana I te honga kaumātua, kāre he reo e rangi mārama pūmau me whakarauora I te reo Māori ki roto I ngā hapu, ngā whānau me iwi. He momo āhuatanga I whatia no te tiriti o nā te kāwana I whati I runga I te tiriti o Waitangi ko te tāhai tamariki, ko te mauhere tāngata, te nuinga he Māori. Ko I tahia no ngā mahi whati I runga whati te tiriti o Waitangi, ko te whati te ingoa tūturu o ngā maunga, o ngā whenua, ngā tāngata, ngā tamariki. E rangi tēnei wā tonu, ko tētahi tino whatinga o te tiriti o Waitangi, ko te urunga atu o tērā pire, hei pire. No reira, hei kōwhiti I roto I te reo Pākehā, I roto I te reo Pihikete, e rangi hei whakakapi I roto I te reo Māori. Ko tēnei me mukua ka tika I tēnei pire, I mua I tonu mai I tōna pānuitanga tuarua. I'm just going to go into English. My name is Nganeko. I am from Te Atiawa, Puketapu Hapu, Otarawa Hapu, Ngāti Kauwhata, Ngāpuhi, from Ngāti Rehia. So I stand with all my hapu, my iwi that have put their submissions in. I'm totally against this bill going ahead. But as a descendant of Muriropatu, which is my whare here, this whare of mine raised many families, including some of us that are actually watching or here in this Zoom. In Muriropatu specifically, was a name that Te Riti o Rongomai gave many my ancestor Tamati Wanganui to return home after being held and imprisoned in Otako, to return home to name our whare Muriropatu. As a reminder, a heavy reminder for us that things have been confiscated, things have been taken, but one thing that won't be taken is our journey to reclaim and revive what was taken, such as our reo, such as our whānau's disconnection to their papakainga. Te Tiriti o Waitangi is a partnership between Māori and the Crown, where both parties respect each other, but it seems as if like it's just one-sided, and I'm sure that this that Te Tiriti o Waitangi wasn't supposed to benefit one side. But I'm going to leave it like as is, my kōrero as is, and yeah, kia tere ngā tāpaitanga o I te hi atu. Ka koe rā koe nei kōrero, tēnā koutou.
Kia ora, thank you, Nganeko. We do have a couple of questions. I'll go straight to Steve Abel and then Hannah.
Kia ora, thank you so much for your submission. It's poignant that you have that name behind you, that Aupatu, referencing the confiscations. Can you help the committee to understand, and tangata tiriti watching, the feeling that you have when there's a presumption that this bill is correcting some sort of advantage or privilege or special right that Māori have, where in the context of what you've just explained is that you as an iwi are in an effort to reassert your and reclaim the impacts of raupatu, the winds of colonisation that are still impacting Māori across the country, and yet we have this presumption that somehow there's an unfair advantage being held by Māori and somehow non-Māori that disadvantaged ones.
Can you ask me the question again? More short and specific, give the right
Quickly.
answer.
Yeah, just really quickly.
Thanks.
You know, is it an insult to the principle of you know, upholding te tiriti that somehow it's regarded that non-Māori have a privilege, that non-Māori are the ones that need to have privilege afforded them rather than Māori?
I think the insult is actually the question itself to be even existing, because we as Māori have had a long duration of trying to reclaim basics, just basics. And things such as having a right to speak te reo Māori, let it be known that it was a legislation that actually made that happen, to be quite clear. And if it wasn't a legislation to, you know, ensure that there were schools to, you know, remove te reo Māori, or even, you know, such things as making it illegal to grow food within our takiwa, which is the case of why my ancestors were arrested and removed. So for me, like, it's a constant for our people to remain humble while we're actually suffering through legislations. And this bill will actually cause not just for Māori, but it will be a catastrophe for tangata tiriti as well. Because at the current state of te tiriti o Waitangi, we are equal partners. And if that's changed, well, actually this bill shouldn't actually, in my perspective, shouldn't actually be introduced into Parliament. That there is also
I'm going to
a
interrupt you. I think you've given an answer. We haven't got much time. And Hana Rafiti Murphy has a question.
Aroha mai, tēnā rā koe te whanaunga te tuawahine, hei te mihi kia koe, me taku moho kai muri a koe ko tō mātou nei, marae o muri raupatu, ka nui takutani ki tēnā. Really quick, because I know we don't have a lot of time on our hands, but can you just explain maybe in 3 words, if you can, the PTSD that we get from having legislation like this, knowing that we've been through Parihaka Pā and the invasion in 1881, 144 years ago, and in 2025, we're still having legislation like this on our hands, knowing that we've only just had the settlement of the return of our maunga taranaki only last week. Can you give 3-word comparisons in the extreme opposite emotions that we could be feeling?
It's like having real bad whiplash, but we're still standing. So that's more than 3. But like our people, it's not just me, myself, yourself. There's thousands of us, like Liana Potu. We're all trying our absolute best, and we'll still remain.
Thank you, Nganeko. We're out of time, but thank you for.
That was an interesting one of bringing up. It's like they're trying to create a grievance that doesn't exist.
I had a total ADHD moment and distracted myself because when she was speaking in te reo, I heard her say puketapu, which is actually a hapu that my whānau is related to through marriage. One of my distant ancestors divorced someone and they went and married a puketapu. And according to whānau stories, like, those two sides don't get on. So I was looking at my Geno page trying to track that link and just not having any success. So I gave up.
I do know Te Aotearoa is where I grew up, being the Kapiti Coast. And that was like the random link to me. It's like, it's just where I grew up.
Right. Yeah, well, Te Aotearoa is originally Taranaki and we migrated down to Wellington. The same as Ngāti Toa. We started in Waikato and migrated down to Wellington and then into Te Waiponamu.
Yes.
And yeah, which is why we have so many pā and so many marae all over like that third of the country. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's that's how it goes.
It is.
I mean, I know there is one particular. There are 2 maraes really close to each other in rural Levin, but it dated back to when the Manawatu River used to be there, and they were on opposite sides of the. I think they were on opposite sides of the river.
Oh, okay.
Or something like, because it's close to where a historic riverbed used to run down.
Right. I'll have to look into that at some point.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, well, it is known locally as Clay Road Marae, but that's its local Pākehā name. It's not the official name of the and the two maraes have different names, but I mean they're intertwined. But it's quite interesting how the two have it dates back to something to do with the old Manawatu riverbed.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm not exactly sure the whole ins and outs of it, but yeah, the Manawatu River did used to go and flow out near Otaki, not near Foxton.
Right.
Until an earthquake in the 1800s shifted the water path.
Ah, right. Yes.
Yeah, and that's why you find from Shannon you find all these random little lakes with no water sources.
Yeah.
And it's based on that they were the deeper points of the rivers through there, including when I was living in Hokia Sands Road, I literally lived on what would have been the western bank of the Manawatu River.
Oh wow!
And that section that's in the middle, known as Arafata Road, is the land in there is a lot more muddier than the land nearby. So it's interesting where it is, and the same with Mohanoa West Road. You've got the section that you go up over a hill, you drop down, you sit down there, you go for like 500 meters, and then back up a hill again, and that's another further point down the river that doesn't exist now.
Yeah. Before we move on quickly, Charlene's question. Is ACT Party requesting to remove themselves from these proceedings? I personally have no knowledge of this, so I was wondering if you did, Sam. Are you able to?
No, I don't think so as such, because Todd Stevenson has been very loyal, but I don't know if other MPs are keeping away. The weird thing that goes with subcommittees is the fact on the Full Justice Committee under the Proportionality Act only has one seat, along with Te Pāti Māori, along with the Greens, along with New Zealand First. You might also notice I've not seen any New Zealand First questions have come up during these hearings, and this is on both. This is with both the committees. I've not seen Jamie Arbuckle or an equivalent New Zealand First MP do the same thing. It might be the fact that ACT didn't have enough MPs to sit. Who knows? It's a weird one. I mean, maybe they're a bit still salty because when there was a request to put Laura McCure as chair, got objected as acting chair, got objected by the opposition, and I don't know, and they might be doing that back at Duncan. But I've not heard officially anything along those lines. But that could be. But also this is Subcommittee B, which is the one that Duncan's been chairing. It's the one that Duncan was critical when there was no ACT people. And I think this might have been a no ACT day.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Might have been a no ACT day. But I'll be honest with you, Todd Stevenson, when he has been on the committee, has actually asked some damn good questions. And he's at least been trying to broaden his knowledge and make it better in a, how would I describe it? An awkward bill, because I don't picture he wants to be seen as the awkward face of ACT, because he actually asked some very damn good questions.
Right.
But, anyone knows me, it's like, when I see a good MP, I'll sit there and say it. But when I say a bad MP, I will equally say that. And if you are of that stripes of that party, some people.
Thanks for watching. Make sure you're subscribed to our Facebook.